everybody, welcome back to part two of Squirrel Tales for Beginners. Um, so, the last episode we talked about camouflage, gun selection. Um, this time we're going to talk about if you're a beginner, how do you even know where to hunt? What are you looking for? Things like that. Now, before we started recording, we were actually thinking about this, and we were overthinking it, um, being more experienced. Um, we're in Missouri. Conservation Department has tons of
Good land.
yes. After hunting in other states, I can honestly say that I think Missouri, and this is not me being partial to living here and being from here, I feel like the state of Missouri has one of the best, is one of the best states for public access.
Yes.
We have a ton of conservation areas, plus we have ground that's U.S. Corps of Engineers. Plus we have the Mark Twain National Forest.
Yes.
There are a lot of areas in Missouri to hunt that are public. The Conservation Department's website is very easy to navigate. I've been on all 50 states' websites, and some of them are just a giant pain in the butt. Um, our website is very easy to navigate, and the conservation agents, they're not as bad as what a lot of people think. Um, they really there are to help you. I mean, they're law enforcement too, but if you see one of those people, one of those men and women out, I've been able to stop and talk to all of them that I've found and never had a problem. They're just people that are doing a job.
Exactly.
And I've never felt like any of them were out to get me. And now, I mean, it's not like I've interacted with everybody, but I've had very positive interactions with our local conservation agents. And even when I've called Jefferson City for information, they've told me who to contact within the state. Very easy to deal with. So where can you hunt? Well, let's be quite honest with you. Squirrel aren't deer.
Nope.
There's a crap ton of them out there.
Yes, sir. There is a bunch.
Look, there are two right over there. So this isn't rocket science here, find some public woods and just they're squirrels. But and we're only talking about Missouri, okay? I'm not some of you other states like y'all know I go to Arizona, and the Abert squirrels are only in ponderosa pines. Now the good thing is there's a bunch of them of those out there, but if you're looking for an Abert and you're hunting in oak trees, that ain't gonna happen. They are ponderosa pine dependent squirrels. But we're in Missouri, the eastern fox and the eastern gray, hickories, oaks, like they're all over.
Yeah, if you want to do conservation instead of private, a lot of conservation land has crop fields.
They do.
If you watch them, one year they'll plant like beans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next year they have to do corn.
Mm-hmm.
When they do corn, that's when you want to go hunt if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
It'll put the odds, yourself more
Oh,
in
yeah.
your favor.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come out of the trees to come in to get the corn.
Mm-hmm.
You may get one on the ground or just catch them moving through the trees.
Yeah. You don't have to learn a lot of trees.
Just a few.
Honestly, learn what a walnut tree is.
Walnut, early season mulberries.
Yeah. If you can figure out honestly a walnut, an oak, and a hickory,
Oh, you got it.
You've got it. Now, there are some things about behavior and helping you find. Okay, so you found some woods. There's squirrels there, but there are some things about behavior that I think are kind of important, and that's it goes with the types of trees, and not like hickory and all oak. You need to go where they're feeding, but I mean, you guys can see the background on our acreage here. I mean, it's all oak and hickory and all the stuff that they're going to eat. So you find trees in Missouri, and that's where they're eating.
Food and water.
Food and water.
Thing. I find where they're getting food or could be getting food.
Yeah.
The cuttings.
And I'm going to throw a third one in there, and that's safety trees.
Yeah, the den trees.
They want really tall trees. That way, when they see something, on the ground, or you spook them or something, they're going to go up top and look down. Now, they may be feeding in smaller, scraggly trees, but if you're in an area where there's only, you got 50 yards of those little spindly things, that's not, like, you're going to have a good mix of the big, tall, safety trees. That's also where they're going to den. If they're not going to have a hole, they're going to make a nest. And you beginner people, if you're ever wondering if it's a squirrel nest or a bird nest, it's a bird nest, because they are super easy to spot. Squirrel nests are sloppy and chaotic, and sometimes you look at them real close, you're like, I don't even know how you're in the tree, but they're big. They're so if you ever have questions about, man, is that a bird, or what kind of a bird would make that? Well, that's a squirrel nest. Yeah, if you have to ask yourself, then is that a bird nest? I know I said it's probably a bird nest, but like it's blatantly obvious to tell the difference. And now I'm sure somebody's watching this saying, well, what about an eagle nest? Well, dear God, they're 200 feet up and they're huge. Exactly. Have you ever seen an eagle nest?
Yes, sir, I have.
They're not a squirrel. So yeah, look for food, water access. But the thing about water access that I have found is that, deer go to ponds and things like that. Well, a squirrel, just a little trickle,
just a hollow tree and holding water. But
yeah.
I mean, you can find them if you sit and watch, especially if you see one squirrel and he's coming down a fence road. Just sit down and watch. There'll be more either coming to him or he's going to investigate. I find that if I sit and watch, even if I don't shoot one, I know I can come back there and that's the path they're taking.
Yeah.
They'll stay on the same path usually. Usually, but not all the time. But most of the time they'll stay the same trees. You got to have, food, hedge trees. I don't like shooting them out of hedge because they smell and taste. You ought to know. You shot them, ain't you?
I don't think that that it's that bad, but
different palate.
Yeah.
But I like them out of hickories, oaks. I really like them when they're in the cornfield feeding on corn.
Well, who doesn't?
They're so much better.
Who doesn't? I mean, I like my deer eating corn too, but
the fox squirrels here, of course, are bigger. You'll find a lot more grays. I seem to find, like this area, I see a lot more grays in pine trees. Well, not pine, sorry, cedars. They the grays seem to love cedar trees.
Yeah, and that's another thing to bring up. Differences, like fox squirrels and gray squirrels. My grandfather always told me that you'd never find them together, and bless that man. I still love him to this day.
That's wrong.
That is wrong.
Definitely wrong.
We find gray squirrels and fox squirrels in the same habitat together all the time. I will say that the timing is different.
Yeah.
Gray squirrels, the eastern grays now. I don't know much about the western grays, but the eastern grays that we have here and that most of the country has, they're your early risers. They're your corporate CEO types. It seems like if I'm there at dawn, I will shoot a couple of grays first thing.
Yep, and then the reds come.
Yeah, then the foxes the fox squirrels are more like, well, it's 9 a.m. I should probably get out of bed.
Yep. They're slackers.
They're bigger. They're slower. They're they're the slackers. They're your when when we walk through the woods to squirrel hunt on roads or something, I see more fox squirrels out at 10, 11 o'clock. Seems like the grays they're already done for the day.
The grays there where I hunt, usually from about crack of dawn till 11, they're out.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, the reds will come out. Yeah, it's right around 9 o'clock.
Yeah. That seems par for where I usually hunt too.
Yep.
Same thing with evening time. The grays seem to den earlier than the fox squirrels do. The fox squirrels really tend to be, almost right at the end of legal shooting hours is when they're starting to den up. Whereas the grays, they're done. You know, they've had their early dinner and you know, they're the early to bed, early to rise ones.
Hour before dark, they're in bed.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. And I said when we were walking through the woods to hunt, bring us to our next point, still hunting versus stalk hunting. I like to still hunt. Actually, I do a couple of things. I still hunt in the early morning and I still hunt in the evening. And I don't usually hunt midday, but after I'm done still hunting in the morning, you know, if the sun rises at 6, probably by 8:30 or 9, I tend to find roads to walk down, you know, like a dirt road or something, old logging road or something. So you beginners, there's no right or wrong answer to this. Again, like we said in the last video, get out there. Get out there and be quiet and watch squirrels behave. And I'm actually going to contradict myself on this. When you're walking, make one bark.
Oh yeah.
Just see how they act. See what they do. First thing is it's easy to locate them when they're barking at you or barking at something. The next thing is they tend to talk to each other.
They do.
So I had one barking earlier in the year that I don't even know what it was barking at because it wasn't barking at me and I could see the stupid thing. Ended up shooting it. But what I didn't see was the squirrel that was like 5 yards up, you know, behind me here up a tree, and it started barking just because the other one was barking.
The grays seem to talk a little more than the reds.
Yeah.
Than the fox squirrels.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. And I like when I take somebody first, I teach them to walk dry creeks or a little creek that you can get through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and always stay below what the squirrels are.
Yeah, and that's actually another point for beginners. So we are in the Ozarks here, and Mike's lived in the Ozarks for quite a while. I am actually a transplant. I came from Kansas City, and I hunted a lot of northwestern Missouri, where it's flatter, it's thicker actually. The woods that I've hunted here is, you know, there's a lot more cedars, and there's not a lot of brush and stuff that grow with the cedars. And if it's a pure cedar forest, there ain't nothing but those. Up in northern Missouri, there's less of your evergreens and a lot more of your oaks and maples, hickories, that kind of stuff. So knowing
Great.
this guy again, you know, we're making a video and he's like, ooh, there's a squirrel.
I live, sleep, and breathe squirrel hunting. Would you say a beginner ought to hunt, you know, kind of like we do, or I don't know if you do it, I do. In the morning, I keep the sun to my face. It's harder to shoot, but it silhouettes them squirrels, and they can't see you as good.
You know, I think that's, I don't think that really matters to me. I think that's time of year type stuff. You know,
Really?
spring, yeah, not spring.
All year with me. But I always, of course, we're in hills, and I always hunt in the hollers, and I'm always looking uphill.
Yeah, so I tend to hunt with the wind in my face, regardless of where the sun is, and that actually, I don't actually think that that matters for squirrels. I think that's more of a holdover from my deer hunting,
Yeah.
learning that. Um, Back to northern versus, down here in the Ozarks. Um, the past couple of times we've hunted, especially that last time when we took the dog out, all those squirrels were on ridges, and you find that a lot down here in the Ozarks. You folks watching this in Arkansas, you'll know what we mean. Up north though, there's a lot more hollers, or draws or ravines or whatever.
What you want to call them?
Look, we're to
I'm a hillbilly.
Missouri, yeah. So they're hollers to me. You find them a lot in there, in the hollers, more so
Yes, sir.
than anything else. And there seems to be more fox squirrels in the northern part of the state.
I'll agree with that because down here, if you shoot a fox squirrel around here, and where I hunt, that's your trophy for the day.
Yeah.
That is your trophy. It's the biggest squirrel.
Yeah. The past few times I've been out, it's been nothing but grays.
Yep.
And I know there's fox squirrels there because I've seen them on the road. But
I seem to notice the fox squirrels like to stay a little closer to the road.
they do. Yes.
I've noticed that a lot.
Yes. They like to stay closer to the road. And that's not just like pavement roads, guys. Logging roads, farm roads. They like to stay, which is why I like to walk those roads after I'm done still hunting. And back to getting them to bark. For you folks that have actual red squirrels, they're the noisiest critters in the world. Out in Colorado and Arizona and southern Utah and all where they have them, they will let you know that they're there and that you're in their woods. The fox squirrels and the grays here, they bark at you or they bark at things because they're either warning or they're startled or something like that. Red squirrels, they just talk.
Yes, sir.
Non-stop. So you new folks that are going out west, and you're starting to do this, you live out west, you're starting to do this, just learn the noises that those things make, and all you got to do is just walk out there and they'll be hollering at you nonstop.
I've had the grays around here do that to me.
Yeah.
Which, that helps locate them. Then the fun begins. You got to sneak up on them.
Yes.
They're in the tree. They can see better than you. And then you got to figure out how to sneak up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun.
Yeah. Other things to look for, scouting. So I don't actually scout for squirrels.
I do, but I don't. It's when I'm out, like if I'm mushroom hunting, which is coming soon.
Yeah.
I watch my trees always. Listen.
Okay, so I guess I should rephrase that. So I'm not confusing the new people watching this about scouting. I do scout for squirrels, but I don't go out. I'm going to go scout for squirrel habitat right now. All of my squirrel scouting happens fishing, mushroom hunting, turkey hunting, deer hunting, all of that. But I think that's going to go right back to the first part of this of, it's not rocket science. There's a crap ton of squirrels. Like our daily limit in Missouri is 10. There's some states out there that it's 12. There's some states that don't even have a limit. So it's not like you're gonna spook them, and it's not deer. Okay, don't overthink it. We're talking about squirrels.
And
there's gonna be a bunch.
You can have other hunters. They'll do your scouting without even thinking about it a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to a bow hunter.
Yep.
If he's out scouting before season, a bow hunter will just go nuts with squirrels.
Yeah, and honestly, all of you guys watching this, you're doing social media because we're posting this on social media. We're on a ton of the squirrel pages,
Yes,
and trapping pages, and are you on any deer pages?
oh yes,
Yeah, I'm not. Um, I just, I don't know.
I've got
Deer
'em.
hunting has been not really that thing for me lately. The point is, there are going to be so many people, even on the squirrel pages, that are going to post pictures, um, and tell you, I can't wait for squirrel season because this is what I saw on my deer stand.
Yes, sir.
And people will help you. The cool thing I have found since I started Bushy Tail Down has been the community of squirrel hunters.
Yes, sir.
It's not like deer where they're like, oh, I'm not going to tell you my favorite spot or anything. We want you to come hunting with us.
Yeah, I'd love to take people squirrel hunting. I do.
Now, some of us have some rules, you're going to respect landowners and respect, but we don't have secret spots where, at least I don't have a secret spot where I'm going to not take you to hunt. My only issue is I'm not going to take you if I've got a landowner that says I can hunt, but I can't bring someone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a different,
I have secret spots that I'll take you to, but I'll take you a long way
because
to
I'm
'em.
special.
You're my buddy. Buddies hunt with buddies. But I'll take anybody to my spots, but I will take them through the woods, and we may walk a mile before I turn and go to where I want to go because I don't want them in there. But that was a honey hole that I found when I was deer hunting. They're thick. I can get somebody in there and get started.
Yeah.
And as they go, I'll tell them how to get there. But when you first get started, I don't share information quite.
Okay.
I'm weird. I want to see somebody really be dedicated before I start giving all my good spots up.
I can see that. You want to make sure that they're not going to leave trash and tear stuff up, so I totally understand that. I mean, I was always raised that if you open a fence to go hunt and close the fence behind you, we're not cutting down anybody's fences, or we're not climbing up in other people's deer stands or any of the stuff like that. And that goes back to the respect thing.
Yes, sir.
But for new hunters, honestly, I feel like that's where mentoring, you guys and gals, I keep saying guys, I'm using that loosely to describe all of humanity.
Yes, sir.
That's where I think mentoring will be something for you all. I keep saying find somebody, and again, it's not because you have to find somebody. It's because you're going to learn a lot, and it's just more fun. I mean, I have more fun going out with you.
Oh yes.
And I still learn things hunting. I mean, I'm still talking. It's been almost 6 months, and I'm still talking about feeling like I had to relearn how to hunt in Arizona, getting nervous because I wanted to kill that squirrel so bad that I kept missing it.
With you saying that, I've noticed myself, even back home where I hunt, it's all the same within, I'm gonna guess, around a 25-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
But you come down this way, it's the same principle, but it's a different game.
How so?
The squirrels act different in different places. Maybe the same food, but that falls into some stuff that we'll cover later, I'm sure. Pressure, how many people have been in there,
Mm-hmm.
how much public is in there.
That's true. But yeah, I think that's stuff that I think for the beginner, I think just getting out
and getting in the woods.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you got a lot of people where they're walking, like there's places in Mark Twain National Forest got the hiking trails.
Yeah.
They'll be some of your best. They're
Yes.
used to you.
Yes.
They're used to your smell. As long as you walk like you're a non-aggressive towards them, they'll pay you no mind.
Yeah. And actually, you're talking about hunting pressure and stuff being a little more advanced. We really are trying to keep this beginner level, and not that some of this isn't good information. We're just really trying to, on the Facebook page, I have a lot of people message me about, hey, I'm getting into it. What can you tell? Or I had a guy, hey, my nephew wants to get into it. What advice? So that's kind of where the premise of this video is
Yes, sir.
coming from. We're talking about hunting pressure. Honestly, I think this is where seeking out a mentor or somebody or other people
Comes in handy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to tell you where some good spots are. Like if you're in the Smithville or Plattsburgh, Missouri area, I can tell you where some good spots are, but there's so much pressure that you got to get back away from people. And these are things that you're only going to know by either A, going and figuring out for yourself,
Yes, sir.
or
somebody
finding
showing.
somebody. And here's the deal. Finding somebody that knows that is because I went and put up with it for myself and figured it out myself. And
Oh, I've got spots where I'll turn them right to it because I know the squirrels are there, and then it gives them a challenge. To me, squirrel hunting is where I get my challenge. It makes you a better shot
yeah,
when you got a threaded 22 bullet or even shot,
yeah,
into a leafy tree, and you only got a hole, that big to shoot through.
yeah,
When you get that satisfaction, you can look at that and go, look what I did.
yeah. If you guys think that oh, it's a squirrel and this is easy, well,
No.
finding them is easy. That I'm not gonna. That's actually pretty easy. But if you think that all of this is easy, you
No.
really do need to watch that video that I posted of the raw footage of me missing that squirrel in Arizona. I'll apologize again. The video's not that good. I was still learning the camera, but
I've had my misses. Well, you've seen my little 22 I had the
Yes.
last time, and I call her baby girl.
yeah,
That is my go-to rival.
he names his guns.
Yes, I do. But with her, even though I know her so well, I've shot 6 times and missed.
Mhm.
I mean, as a veteran hunter, that's embarrassing to me.
Yeah, but
But it
happens. It happens, and that's another thing. Honestly, that we weren't planning on talking about with this episode, but I think it's a good thing to talk about now with beginners. Is you're gonna miss.
If you miss, don't get in your head with it.
Yeah,
Just shake it off, and if you need to, sit down. Just if you're stalking, just sit down, regroup
yep.
yourself.
Take a deep breath.
Myself, when I miss one, it'll eat me up for days because I replay that shot in my head. But that's because I've done this so long, and I fancy myself as a head shooter only.
Yeah, I try for headshots only, but I mean
If I've got one showing me nothing but
that.
behind the shoulder, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to lose some shoulders.
Yeah, and I think this is where, some of my paramedic background and baseball background, in both of those, there's no room to replay a lot in your head. So it's a lot easier for me to miss a shot and, oh, well, I missed a shot,
Oh,
and then regroup for that second one.
I can do that, for the second shot, but if I miss one and it's a chip shot, and you've had those,
Oh, yeah.
They're 10 yards away,
Yeah.
are in the open and you miss, well, that'll eat me all day.
Yeah, I don't dwell on it. Y'all come back and, man, I can't believe I missed that. But the point is, you beginners, like, it happens.
It happens.
It
Don't
happens
get
a lot.
discouraged.
You watch the gun videos on this page, and I'm missing a lot. But you know what? I still go out and make videos, and I still go out and shoot. I learn from each one, and that's the same thing for you. If you spook a squirrel and you don't get to take the shot because you did something, well, learn from it. It's Bob Ross, the painter, always said there's no mistakes, there's happy accidents.
That's right.
It's the same thing with squirrel hunting. Like, yeah, you moved wrong. Well, guess what? Now you know that when a squirrel's that close to you or whatever, you can't do that. So what? You learn from it and do it right the next time.
For a beginner squirrel hunter, if he's doing it by himself, I would suggest carrying like an apple or an orange with him in a sock.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Why?
If a squirrel circles a tree and you can't get it's a cat and mouse game.
Uh-huh.
Take that orange in that sock and toss it to the other side of the tree. He'll
Okay.
focus on that and roll back around.
I always just found a rocker stick,
And you got
but I get what
lunch.
he's saying.
And you got lunch. But
Yeah.
that's what my grandfather taught me. I'd always, when I was a kid, have an apple or an orange or something like that in a sock.
That is a new one on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Well, I can't say they do it all the time. There was a guy I hunted with in Louisiana.
I mean, I am 42 years old, and I have never heard that before. Okay,
Really?
this is what I'm talking about, beginners. You're always learning stuff.
Yes, sir. But a guy in Louisiana, my grandfather showed me that, and then that's how he hunted.
Hmm.
Instead of both of us trying to get back together because we separate, we split apart, we just carry oranges and stuff in our pockets with us all.
Okay.
It works wonders.
Yeah.
And the rock thing works, but I think the white, they can see that. They say squirrels are colorblind.
Nah, I don't know.
And I don't know. I'm like you. I don't believe it,
No.
but they got a nose and they can smell.
Oh, they can smell.
But you can take that sock and just pitch it, and he'll follow it and come right around. Just like throwing a rock.
Yeah. I guess maybe I need to carry more apples. I'm an apple guy, not an orange guy. But
Yeah, apple get a little bruised, but it's okay.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Anything else we need to cover on?
Not on this that I can think of. I mean, just get out there, enjoy yourself, take your time.
Yeah.
Don't try to speed through the woods, because if you're moving fast, they're gonna see you as a threat and hide.
Yeah.
Just take your time. To me, if you got a 10-acre patch of woods and you're through it in 30 minutes, you've gone too fast.
Yeah. Treat it like a
Casual walk.
nature hike. You know, you're going out to just bird watch, and other than you're doing it to kill squirrels with a gun.
I like sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
I like to just be walking along, find a tree, sit out beside it for a while. I've had squirrels that I hadn't seen when I was walking, and they'd be right above me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I've had that too. So just to recap, call your local conservation office, your DNR office, whichever your state has. In Missouri, here it's the Department of Conservation, but other states it's your natural resources, so your DNR. Get a hold of them. They have tons of information. Every state I've ever hunted in, squirrel hunters like to talk to each other. We like to get everybody involved. The squirrel hunting community is like no other community as far as wanting to help. Don't let other people's opinions, now here we are giving our opinions, but don't let that control what you do. I mean, take even what we're saying with a grain of salt. Think about it, but don't, it's not the end all be all. Me being a 22 Magnum guy, I get a lot of flack from people online about how it's overpowered and I should only be doing this and I should only be doing that. You want to know something? I'm going hunting, and that's all I care about.
That falls in the caliber of that falls into a different kind of shooting.
It
I
does.
was raised a 22 mag was not used for squirrels. As you know, I have one now.
And I was raised that it was also not used for squirrels, but I also found that it was fun. And you know what? I use it for squirrels.
It'll teach you to be a better shot.
Yeah. Even with your 17s, like you've got to.
Yeah, I haven't.
You have to. Shot placement is a big deal.
It is.
You take a 22, just a regular 22 long rifle, and
your shot placement ain't as important.
No, I mean, if you hit it in the shoulder on accident, you might lose that one shoulder, but you're probably not going to lose that second shoulder. You take a 22 mag and you shoot it through the shoulder, and some of those shells will blow it in half. But anyways, I digress. We're talking about beginner stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, if you got any other questions, let us know. Leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And you experienced hunters, you can answer them too. There's no such thing as too much information. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.